Today we are making a vanilla cake, and this recipe is for 4 8-inch cake tins. So right here I have my recipe just pasted up here, so it will be easier for me to navigate through my recipe. I'm going to start by applying a little bit of butter into each cake tin, and this is done so that it will be easier to release the cake from the cake pan when it's being baked. So this is a very important step that must be done for this vanilla recipe. After applying the butter to each cake tin, we are going to sprinkle sieved flour into each cake tin. This is just a part of this easy cake release process, and it's very crucial. After sprinkling the flour in each pan, the next thing is to pat the pan upside down on your work surface to remove the excess flour. Now we are going to sieve and measure our flour. I'm actually using the electronic kitchen scale for this measurement because I needed a precise measurement for this cake. It is very necessary to sieve your flour before using it. Reason being that there could be some particles inside the flour. You could have some grits or even insects. So it is very advisable that you sieve your flour before using it. Another reason why we sieve it is to loosen the flour so that it will be more fluffy. You have more fluffy products, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you do not want your products to be dense, so you just loosen it a bit. This sieving now helps you to loosen the flour. This is very, very important. It removes particles, unwanted particles, and also helps loosen the flour. So this is a very crucial process. Please, you do not want to skip this. I'll be using salted butter for this recipe. So here I have my 1000 gram of salted butter. So we're going to bring the eggs to the mix. Here we have 18 large eggs at room temperature. We're going to break this one after the other. And I like to use 2 separate bowls because I'd like to break each egg in one bowl first and then put it in the other, and then just repeat the process. This is so that in case maybe one egg is bad, you don't break it into the big mix. You don't want to throw your eggs away because of one bad egg. So this is a safer method. I'd like to break it in the first bowl and put it in the other bowl. Also ensure that there are no shell particles in your eggs. Into the eggs, we're going to add our preservatives. Now you can use orange zest, but I'm going to use the rum from my mixed fruit. I'm also adding 2 teaspoons of vanilla flavor or any flavor of choice. In my next video, I'll be showing us how to make the orange zest. Back to our dry ingredients, which is basically flour, I'll be adding 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Baking powder has a tendency to clump up, so always make sure you sieve your baking powder before putting it in the flour so that it can be evenly distributed around or mixed with the flour. After mixing the dry ingredients, we go on to measure our sugar. So for this recipe, we are using 700 grams of sugar. Measure and keep aside. Now we'll go on to cream our butter. So we're going to cream our butter with our hand mixer for 10 minutes. But if you're using a wooden spatula, which is an alternative, you'd have to cream this for 30 minutes. So if you have a stand mixer, that's even better because it's a little hand lagging. Now we're going to cream our butter until it increases in volume. When the butter has been well creamed and is fluffy enough, as you can see, it has an increase in volume, we're going to add our sugar, and then we're going to cream this until it is very, very fluffy. Now, do not mind if you can still feel the grittiness of the sugar in the pan. It doesn't mean you're just going to cream this for another 5 to 10 minutes. Now, this is the hard part of baking. Every other thing is very easy, but creaming, especially when you do not have a stand mixer. We would go on to add our eggs, one yolk after the other. But in this case, since it's a big batter, I'm adding 3 yolks at a time. Make sure to add your yolks first before you go on to add the egg white. You'll add 3 yolks to the batter. You cream for 15 to 30 seconds before you add the next batch. This is done so that the eggs will be properly mixed with the batter. Baking is patience in order to get the best results. So you just add your ingredients one after the other and be patient about it. It's very important to cream the batter at this point. Cream it properly and make sure that there is no egg soup at the bottom. What I do is I use my silicone spatula to check the bottom of the bowl to make sure that there is no egg soup at the bottom. And then I still use the hand mixer to cream it and cream it properly to make sure that everything is properly and well incorporated. The final step in this recipe is adding the dry ingredients. That's the flour and the baking powder combination, and also our liquid milk. You can use any milk of your choice provided it's liquid. This milk was made by me at home and it's just 5 to 8 tablespoons of powdered milk to 1 cup of water. I'm using 2 cups of milk in this recipe. You can decide to put less or use a little bit more. Just make sure that the batter is not too runny. I'm adding the flour in 3 batches, and please do not over mix or over cream your batter at this point. Once you put in your flour, do not over mix, because if you over mix, you end up activating the gluten in the flour and it could result in a dense cake. At this point, do not cream your batter, you fold the batter. As you can see, I dropped my hand mixer and I'm using the wooden spatula to do this final mixing point because I do not want to activate the gluten in the flour. So you go on to fold the batter until there are no streaks of flour visible. At this point, I'm going to distribute our batter equally into our four 8-inch cake tins. I am using the electronic kitchen scale to aid in this measurement process. You give each tin a tap on the work surface to even things up. Here we have it, our batter equally distributed in these four pans. Next, we're going to proceed to put this into our preheated oven. Sorry, I forgot to tell us to preheat our oven for 5 minutes before putting in the cake batter. So here we have the final product. These are our cakes. Super delicious and sturdy enough for wedding purposes. Thanks for staying with me. I love you and hope to see you next time. Bye.